Hello, welcome to Thought Thursday. Today, we'll delve into the Montessori philosophy, which is the approach to child development, and I'll try to describe the major G elements of Montessori, and hopefully I can provide parents new to Montessori a little more insight. Please let me know what else you'd like to know in the comments section. I also like to add that while I am obviously a big proponent of Montessori, please do align with what works for you and your family. And remember, there is no perfect parent. What matters is an aware, mindful parent. So mindful parents, let's dive in. One of the two core tenets of the Montessori philosophy, which is every child is treated as an individual, is the guiding theory of the approach to child development. And this theory rethinks how we think about children, the way that we see them, and understand how they grow, learn, and develop. But fundamental to this is believing in their success and potential. Maria Montessori began her professional life as Italy's first female physician. Using her keen scientific observation skills, she began to develop a theory of child development and education based on the dictum, "Follow the child." The Montessori approach is designed to assist the child in acquiring the skills and self-confidence necessary to fulfill his or her own potential. By building on a child's interests, nurturing enthusiasm, and allowing for individual needs, children can achieve self-discipline, self-mastery, and a lifelong love of learning. How is this philosophical theory translated? It is translated through, bottom line, respect for the child. And this will be the first major component or first major element. This is the most important element, I'll say, of Montessori, respect for the child. And it is also a most important element in parenting in general. Respect for infants and toddlers come in many forms in a Montessori environment. It includes a beautiful and inviting space for a child to live in, to work in, and potentially to play in. It also includes making children feel like they're important and contributing members of our family or our community. Respecting the child means speaking and interacting with our child in a gentle and loving way and in ways they can relate to. Lastly, this includes respecting each child's individual development and their pace and style of learning, whether at home or at school. The second important element was the observation. Here, taking the time to observe each child allows us to assess their individual needs and interests, i.e., social, emotional, and developmental. These observations give us the information we need to prepare a proper environment for each child's development and to rotate the environment with the materials that are contained in it. These could be everyday useful things or designated activities. And this is done as they grow and their interests change. We might notice that our child is constantly making animal sounds, for example, especially the dog and the cat. So to take advantage and expand this interest, we can find materials such as wooden puzzles, books, and animal figures of pets for our child to explore. And this will be capitalizing, or this is what I mean by capitalizing on our child's interests through observation, because it is only through observing them that we get an insight into their interests, and their interests could be very much aligned with their needs or their developmental needs. Observation can especially come in handy when our child is acting out. For example, if our toddler is throwing all their toys off their shelf, that tells us that 1. We might want to simplify their shelf or reduce the number of materials, and 2. Give them other opportunities to throw, because this may be a need that may be catering to some other developmental need or developmental process which is not immediately visible to us. And so in such a situation, we might provide them, say, a basket of balls that they may be able to throw into another basket. And we may see this, as an indication from when, they might be throwing things constantly around in order to fill their time or a moment. A third important element will be order. In a world that is so big and often overwhelming, infants and toddlers are usually happiest when they have order and structure to their day. This includes organization of their environment and routines. In Montessori classrooms, as well as homes, all of the children's materials have a specific place in their environment, and there is a consistent daily schedule. The idea is that infants and children come to know what to expect and feel more secure when they know what to expect. So they are more secure within that knowledge. And with this security comes confidence. The child has the confidence to seek out independent play and work and take on new challenges. Of course, we can't always keep our environment perfectly organized or our days fully or perfectly structured, nor should we. But the more we can do, the more calm and confident our child would feel. The next element is preparation of environment. Dr. Maria Montessori said, the greatest sign of success for a teacher, and in the case of parents of an adult, is to be able to say, child or the children are now working as if I did not exist. So instead of the teacher or the parent at the center, Montessori describes a triangular interaction among the adult, child, and environment. The adult is the connection between the child and the environment, inviting them in. This is in part why teachers are called guides in Montessori and not teachers. Guides, or an alternative, will be directors. With a prepared environment and carefully chosen materials, the child can explore the environment at home or in school and use their materials with minimal assistance. At home, this will translate the child having a lot of autonomy and being able to care for himself and contribute to the environment and contribute to other people within the environment or within the home environment. This kind of environment that will be provisioned, that will lend itself to the child to have autonomy of self, will promote curiosity, would also promote concentration, and would promote independence, which is the key link with autonomy from very early on. The next element is independence and choice. Whenever possible, children are given a chance to do things for themselves before the adult steps in. A common quote in Montessori communities is, "Help me to do it by myself." We as adults are there to model and guide, but not to take over our child's work. Giving infants and toddlers time and opportunities to exert their independence promotes their self-confidence and self-reliance. You can see the delight and pride on a toddler's face when they put their own shoes on for the very first time. One simple way to give your child more independence is to give them choices rather than directions. For example, would you like to get in your pajamas or brush your teeth first? This is offering them a choice, but a very limited choice, so that it becomes an either or kind of choice, rather than it's time to get ready for bed. The next element would be intrinsic motivation. In a Montessori environment, adults try to acknowledge accomplishments rather than praise or rather than offering rewards for doing something labeled as good. For example, an adult might say, "You stacked these building blocks really high," or "I see you worked really hard at putting on your shoes," rather than "good job" or "I'm so proud of you." The idea is for children to learn how to take pride in their own accomplishments, in their self-accomplishments, rather than only put in effort for adult praise or external rewards. Acknowledging the effort they put into something rather than the end result also encourages children to seek out challenges more often and to do activities because it feels good rather than because they want to be praised. The Montessori philosophy is based on 3 equal components. The first is the child. Dr. Montessori has concretely led us to believe that young children possess an absorbent mind that allows them to easily take in information and make sense of it right from birth by observation through all of their senses or through engaging all of their senses. In addition, we believe that children have what we call sensitive periods when their interests and abilities for acquiring certain or specific skills are at a peak. We'll look at this further in the next Thursday episode. Montessori provides children with the environment, the materials, and guidance to learn to do and think for themselves. It views children as born learners who are capable and willing to teach themselves when provided with the right stimulus. The ultimate goal of Montessori education is independence. Montessori discovered early on that development does not proceed in a linear or constant fashion. Rather, it occurs in periods or cycles. Dr. Montessori referred to these cycles as planes of development and divides child development into 4 critical planes. Each plane is further divided into sub-phases of attainment and refinement. The second of the 3 components is the adult. The role of the adult in Montessori is best described as a guide or directress who acts as balance in the triangular relationship of child, environment, and adult, who observes the needs and growth and interest of the child, and directs the child's interaction with the environment and becomes the link between the child and the environment. The third component of the 3 components is the environment. This is carefully prepared and very enabling, a space where everything has a purpose and a place. There is a distinct sense of order which assists children in developing logical thought processes. Note that fundamental to this idea is order in environment and order in mind. Order in environment and order in mind. Within this space or carefully prepared enabling environment, children are free to follow their interests, choose their activity, and progress at their own pace. And it's an environment that promotes autonomy. Next week, we'll talk a little more about the theory of development from Montessori's philosophy. Do follow this conversation with the hashtags #A Mindful Method with Soraya, #Thought Thursday, and #Soraya Kofi, and finally #Montessori Parent Coach at my handles at A Mindful Method with Soraya across Meta, on IG, Threads, and Facebook, and also at A Mindful Method on X. Do visit my website and subscribe to my blog, or to book a coaching session or consulting and speaking engagements. Thank you for staying with me and for listening. If you like this pod, then like, follow, comment, and share with others for more. Stay mindful.